Hello and welcome to the channel. I'm Carl from Planet 40k, and today we're going to continue our discussion with the new Necron Codex. So just before we get stuck in, if you're new and have yet to subscribe, hit that subscribe button below. We're throwing out loads of content covering the Necron Codex, and from next week we'll be starting our unit reviews once I've managed to get a better chance to digest the book. Also hit that like button to support the vid, and check out our Patreon if you would like to support us further, as we're really looking to starting to do painting tutorials and battle reports in the not too distant future. So today I thought we'd take a look at the new relics within the new codex. So kicking us off, we've got the Eternal Orb. So this replaces your Resurrection Orb. Once per battle, select a friendly dynasty unit within 6 inches that has yet to use reanimation protocols. The unit can use reanimation protocols and then add 1 to the reanimation protocols roll. Not sure how I feel about this one, as there's quite a few ways to get a +1 to the roll, and this being a 1 use only seems a little bit odd. If this was an additional use of reanimation protocols for a selected unit once per game, I'd understand, but it's not. The second relic we have, called HANDSCARAB CASKET. This is where the bearer of the relic uses its living metal ability to regain a lost wound at the start of the turn. You regain another wound on top of that, so basically living metal gives you 2 wounds back per turn. This is okay keeping your characters alive. I kind of feel like your infantry characters tend to not take any wounds at all, and then all of a sudden they get caught in combat and then they're just gone in a blink of an eye because you're up against things like thunderhammers and whatnot. But if they do survive that first round of combat, it can be handy to keep them back in the game, but it's okay. Next we have Gauntlet of Conflagration. This is a ranged weapon. It's 12-inch range and a single shot pistol with the following ability. So the weapon auto hits, and instead of rolling to wound, you roll a d6 for each enemy model within the targeted unit, and any 6s causes a mortal wound. I like this one, especially good against large horde blobs such as your Orc Boys and your Helmagants. And the fact that you don't have to roll to hit or to wound, it just dishes out the mortal wounds to 1/6 of the squad. So it's quite nice. Obviously if you're going up against elite units, it's not going to be that great. The fourth relic in the book, Veil of Darkness. Once per battle relic, so the bearer and a friendly unit within 3 inches of the bearer can teleport anywhere on the battlefield as long as you are more than 9 inches away from enemy units. Worth noting that you can use this relic while in combat and still do everything as normal. So it's really handy to teleport a large unit of warriors out of danger and place them on an objective or in a position where they can rapid fire their Gorse weapons. This is a really strong game changing relic really. Okay, so next on the relic page you've got the Voltaic Staff. This replaces the Staff of Light. It's both a ranged weapon and a melee weapon, and the range variant is 18-inch, assault 4, strength 6, -2 AP and 2 damage. And if you roll any 6s to hit, they score 2 additional hits, a little bit like exploding Tesla weapons. And the melee side is strength +1, -2 AP and again 2 damage. So not a bad little relic here. It's got good strength, so you're likely to be wounded on 3s or even 2s against those weaker units. It's nice that it's also a melee weapon, although a war scythe is probably better. The Staff of Light that it replaces is okay on its own, but it's only range 12, so meh, it's okay. Up next we've got the Void Reaper. This replaces either a Void Scythe or a War Scythe. So these are strength +2, -4 AP and 3 damage. And it also comes with an ability. Each time an attack is made with this weapon, the enemy unit cannot use abilities that ignore wounds. So anything with a feel no pain roll, such as your Death Guard with their disgustingly resilient. There's plenty of units with the game that have these kind of rules, so it is situational, but I do quite like it. Sempiternal Weave is next, so any nobles can gain +1 to their toughness and wounds. So this is overlords and your lords. You can put it on a Catacomb Command Barge, however they are currently 9 wounds now. So adding on an additional wound will put them to 10 wounds, and this will result in them not being able to use the Lookout Sir rolls that are now in play. So it's not really worth doing it with them. It's not too bad on your Overlords and Lords though. The Arrow of Affinity, this pretty much upgrades your Tachyon Arrow to a strength 16, and instead of a d6 damage it's a flat 6, but 1 use only of course. This one's more of a novelty. It's okay in small games, the damage is nice, but anything larger than a 1000-point game, it's probably not worth it. Take it for giggles in the friendly games, but that's as far as I'd go with it. Next is the Conduit of Stars. This is a Mefrit Dynasty only relic. The relic replaces the relic Gauze Blaster, which is held by your Royal Warden. It has the following stats: 36 inch, rapid fire 3, strength 6, minus 2 AP and 2 damage. So the weapon it did replace was only 24 inch, rapid fire 2, strength 5. So it's a nice little upgrade. The weapon's alright really. Next one is a Nefric only relic, which is Solar Staff. Replaces the Staff of Light. It's both a ranged and a melee weapon. So in shooting it's 24 inch, assault 6, strength 5, minus 2 AP and single damage. And the melee version is strength user, minus 2 AP and also single damage. And their ability is if you score a hit with this weapon, then the enemy cannot fire Overwatch or set to defend. I wouldn't bother really. Overwatch is barely a thing unless you're playing like Tau or you're charging a squad full of flamers, for example. So it's quite situational at best. The set to defend thing, I've not come across it too often. I mean, that might just be the way we play, but I'm not that keen on this one. Next we have the Infinity Mantle. This is a Nihilic Dynasty only, so you get +1 to your save, and also each time the bearer loses a wound, roll a d6. On a 6, that wound is not lost. So effectively a 6 up, feel no pain. Not too bad, but I feel like when your characters die, it's usually in combat, so you're going to be using an invuln anyway. If you're losing characters while being shot, then you probably lost the game anyway, in my opinion. Blood Scythe, which is a Novak Dynasty relic. This replaces your Void Scythe or War Scythe. It's a strength +2, 4 AP and 2 damage melee weapon, which is effectively the same stats as the War Scythe, but you gain in 2 additional attacks. So that's what they should have worded it as really, just 2 additional attacks. The Vanquisher's Mask, which belongs to the Sautek Dynasty. At the start of the fight phase, select an enemy unit within 3 inches of the bearer. That unit cannot fight until all other eligible units have fought. We're starting to see this sort of rule more and more. It's quite common now in the game overall. I think it is going to start to make a difference soon. The relic is very good. Getting to fight first with your guys can really help with defending against a combat unit. And it is quite powerful overall. It will sort of put off a lot of players from throwing units into you if they're not going to fight first. So finally we have the Sovereign Coronal, which is a Swarkan Dynasty relic. Noble models only can carry this relic, and it gives the following abilities. So firstly, while a Swarkan unit is within 9 inches of the bearer of this relic, that unit benefits from the command protocols rather than at 6 inches. So you're basically gaining an extra 3 inch to your protocols aura there. Secondly, friendly core units within 9 inches gain both directives from that particular command protocol. So I think Games Workshop are really pushing this dynasty. I think it's really good as you know in advance what turn you're going to have a certain command protocol, so you can really plan without your opponent knowing what you're doing, and then having both those directives as well with an increased aura. So I think this one's going to be pretty good. It's going to take a few play tests to sort of work out the best way of using this, but I can just see this working. So guys, that's all the relics in the new codex. Which ones do you think you'll be using? Are there any hidden gems here that synergize with other codex abilities, such as your custom dynasty codes or your warlord traits? I still think I'm favouring the Veil of Darkness. I just like the idea of teleporting out of trouble and really messing with your opponent, especially mid-game when they've started to position their units on the board. So I think it's really strong. So yeah, in the previous videos I mentioned I'll be pinning the best combos at the top of the comments below. So I'll be doing that in this video as well. So if you've got a combo, put it down below in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.